All right, hello everyone. This is Chaslin from the Upper Skagit Library. And if I look kind of weird, it's because I'm looking back and forth between two cameras here. So forgive me. It's a very odd sensation to have two cameras at you at once. But anyway, welcome to Plan Ahead. And this is our first new program for 2021. Hello and welcome 2021. May you be good to us. Plan Ahead is I think today what we're going to do is we're going to kind of look at this through how I've experienced the topic at hand, because I think that's the easiest way to introduce it. So I am a person that ever since I was little, I really loved stationery and paper products and just anything organizing. Like that's the kind of thing that as a kid I was super excited about. So it makes complete sense that as an adult, I kind of became a planner geek. And so Plan Ahead is a program where we're going to kind of take a look at hints, tips, tricks on how to use paper planners and paper journals to get organized. And the reason that I find that really important, I'm a huge fan of digital technology. I grew up in the computer era. It's like an extension of myself. I love technology, and I think technology is really, really helpful. But one of the things that I've discovered is that because there's so much information on the internet, and because there's just so much coming at us in terms of notifications and new articles and things to pay attention to on the internet, I've found a lot of success in keeping organized with paper products, paper planning. And one reason for that is there's less coming at you. It's something to focus on where there's not extraneous information happening. You're handwriting it, and so it's said commonly that if you want to remember something, write it down. And because you're not only being able to reference that at a later time, the process of handwriting it actually ingrains it into your memory a little bit better for most people. So I love I think I've been doing this kind of method for 3 years now. And I've gone back and forth between using planners, like calendar style planners, something you would traditionally get at one of those stationery stores. And I've also been experimenting a little bit with the bullet journal method. And the bullet journal method is a style of planning and kind of diary keeping and note keeping, designed by a guy named Ryder Carroll. And there's a bit of a short form to it. So for example, if you were to mark something with a dot, it has a significance. And if you were to mark something with an arrow and a pointing in a specific direction, that also has a different significance. And he's written a book about it, and he's released his own recommendations and his own actual, I think, bullet journals designed to follow his system. But many people find that to be just a starting point, and they come up with their own ways that work best for their lives and their brains and how they do things. So for me, I started off kind of sort of trying to do a bullet journal method in this notebook here. And let me switch to the multiple view where you can see me kind of in both places. So my very first attempt at doing planning in this style was just in a notebook, just a regular college ruled lined notebook paper. And one of the things that's great about planning and bullet journaling is that you can run the gamut from very minimalistic, this is bare bones, this is what I need to do, this is when I need to do it, or you can go all the way to the other end where it's more like an art journal, and you watercolor and you illustrate and you make it very artistic and creative. And it's a way to kind of keep creativity throughout your week and to practice your art skills. And it just kind of it becomes a really more of a hobby on that end of the spectrum, as opposed to just this is me keeping organized. So, and then there's plenty of space in that spectrum in between. So when I first started, I started with this basic notebook that I got from, I think, a grocery store. And then because I'm me, I put stickers in it because I love stickers. And then more stickers. And so what I started here is I was kind of copying the Writer Carroll bullet journal method. So I put a key in the front. So a dot is to do, an X is for done. Then we have the arrows to schedule and to migrate to later. Let's see, notes, events, appointments, things that I did well. I gave myself a little thumbs up sticker because that was really rewarding for my brain. And then I created an index, and I tried to color coordinate it and to kind of break it down by types of stuff that I was doing. So all of the different jobs that I do, all of the different projects that I have going, things for home, things for work, things for volunteer stuff, and tried to color coordinate it. I then did start doodling a little bit because that was fun for me. There's some future planning going on. So future planning is when you kind of, at the beginning of the year, kind of take a look at what you know is going to be coming up throughout the rest of the year and just kind of marking that down so that you don't forget it. Let's see. One of the other things I did was I kept a list of books that I was reading that year, new films and TV that I was watching and experiencing. New music, new podcasts. I attempted to make a morning routine and a nighttime routine. I did not stick with it. I was not very good at it. And then I would get into the month. So it'd be like a monthly overview of what I'm doing, things that I wanted to accomplish. And then I started, and here's where it kind of got messy for me. So I attempted to keep everything sectioned out by what the work was for and then color coding it, but then it was also merging with other work that I was doing. And for my brain, it got a little bit confusing. So that didn't work. And it was an attempt, but it really, it was a struggle. We'll say that way. I used it to try to keep track of certain things that I was doing, you know, when I was logging my food, when I was taking photos, and I really wasn't using it much. So I went through until about June of that year, and then I found that I'd used up the entire notebook. And then I had a kind of a section for like things that were still ongoing that were in this book, but that I needed to move over to whatever I was using next. So then I thought, okay, well, this was interesting, but I kind of want to take it more seriously. So I moved to a more of the typical sized journal. And so I got one of these journals, and I kind of did the same thing. I did a cute little artsy, I think it's cute for me. Anyway, I don't have much artistic ability, so, you know, do with it what you will. But I started getting a little more fancy with some more doodles and some washi tape. And washi tape is a particular type of tape that is, for the most part, movable. You could, it's not like one time, you know, you stick it and then it's forever there. You can move it around a couple of times before it loses its stickiness. But it's a great way to kind of segment things or decorate things. So I made a future log for this. I made a this and that section where I glued or double-sided taped like movie tickets. I think that was all I did for that round. So I had monthly bills that I had some business expenses, I had expenditures, and then I got into my monthly layouts. And let's see if I can show you a fun example of that. So a lot of use of washi tape, a lot of doodling still. Some of these washi actually smell like what the design is. So like this lavender washi smells like lavender, and almost 2 years later, it still kind of smells like lavender, which is great. Yeah, let's see if I can find one that I really liked. Okay, so this one was September, and I did kind of a Harry Potter theme. So I drew a golden snitch, and I tried to do an outline of Hogwarts, and coffee tape, which smells like coffee, books, washi tape. I had to-do list, goals, summary of the month. Let's see, what else did I have? Good things that happened. So it's a memory keeper and an organizer, the bullet journal method. Let's see, I did a list of things that would be happening that month, meeting dates and family visiting and things like that, back when we could do those kinds of things. I also did a tracker, so I was tracking how well I was doing with like skincare routines, food, photography competitions, things like that. And then I would get into weekly layouts. So I wasn't really doing weekly layouts in that first notebook that I was using. And that was when I really found that things were starting to help. So you would break things down by day of the week, and then what you needed to get done that day, things you needed to do, things that were happening. And that became a much better help for me as I was going through this process. And there were times where I really didn't use it as much. And then there were times where I really did rely on it and use it quite extensively. So then at the end of the book, I wrote a list of books that I had read. And then my podcasts, my music, films, TV. I thought I was going to write that year. I didn't. So I had plot bunnies. I had a handwritten list of things to check out from the library. That quickly got unwieldy, as you can see, because there were so many. And that was the end of that one. So I was getting kind of closer to a style that worked for me, but it was not quite there yet. So then I moved on to this journal, and it was very much the same idea. Lots of the same kind of decorations, more washi tape, more weekly layouts and monthly summaries, and just having a lot of fun with it. I had a different style of tracker for different things that I was keeping track of when I was cleaning my house, when I was reading, lots more stickers. Oh, and I started using stamps, which was fun, stamps and ink, and decorating that way. That was a lot of fun. So after using that method for a little while, I wanted to experiment a little bit more. I was getting more into the planner community and looking at other people who were bullet journaling, and I was trying to find a system that worked better for me. And planners and bullet journalers frequently call it planner peace, and it's finding that right method that really works for you. And so what I did was I did a two book system where I took a notebook for a bullet journal style, and then I also got a planner, which was interesting and new for me. So with the bullet journal, it was very much the same, although this time I did get an index like I did the very first time. I had goals, wish lists, gratitude logs, compliment logs, because that was nice, quotes, plot bunnies, budgeting, all of the stuff that has been in the others I kept. I started doing goals and summaries and good things and soundtracks and reading and words for every month. And then I was doing the tracker system here and the monthly look through here. And then I would go into the weekly pages. And then somewhere right around here, the pandemic happened. And like many people who do planning and bullet journaling, well, let's just say we stopped using our planners as much because there was nothing to do. So quarantine, week 2, week 3, get into April. So I was still writing in my bullet journal at that time, but it was getting sparse. Around June, I started experimenting with using a specific type of marker, and then watering it down and trying to make a watercolor-esque sort of situation. And that was a lot of fun. It brought a lot of color to something that, was getting a little bit depressing at that point. Lots of sparkly washi tape, lots of stickers again, and just kind of kept going on throughout the year. I actually did, towards the end of the year, start getting watercolors and having fun with that. And then I'm actually not even caught up in this because I haven't done any planning for December at all. And the reason for that was I started finding that my planner was actually a little more, it was easier and quicker to set up for me because I was getting so bogged down into decorating my bullet journal that it was much faster to go through my planner and just use what was already set up there. So they would have like a dates section, a to-do list, a wish list. I should probably switch that around so that you guys could see that better. It also had sections for like what were you watching, what were you reading, what did you like, and then a monthly preview that was already done for me. And then this is a vertical layout. And so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And the one thing that I really liked about this planner was that a lot of planners will try to squeeze Saturday and Sunday together into one box to give you more room for other things. But for me, who typically does work more on weekends than I would say on a Monday, I wanted my Saturdays and my Sundays to actually have the same space as the other days of the week. So for a while, I was just using this section as like decorative washi tape. But as we go further along, disregarding March sadness and April sadness, we get to a point where I am using the sections for like things that I want to do, keep track of what week in quarantine we're in, goals, things like that. And so you can see that there was a layout that was already pre-done for me, so I didn't have to worry about that. But there was still plenty of room to get creative and to use pens and markers and stickers and colors and to still enjoy the artistic side of what I was doing in the bullet journal. But there was still places where I could enjoy the artistic side of it, but it wasn't nearly taking up as much time. So that was kind of interesting. And so that kind of brings us to the end of the year here, where I have set up my new system. And I'm really excited about my new system. And I agonized for a very long time on what I was going to do for 2021, because I didn't want to have the problem with the planner was that it was perfect for weekly layouts and saving me time and energy. But there also wasn't a lot of extra pages where I could add some of the extra stuff that I had in my bullet journal. So like the gratitude logs and the wish lists and things like that. There wasn't room for that in that planner. So that was why I had the bullet journal, which could contain that. But then I was writing the same weekly stuff in both, and it was just really redundant. I was doubling up on the effort. So what I wanted was a mix of a bullet journal and a planner. And I looked around a lot for different systems. And one of the things that I really would love to have in a planner is the ability to change my mind on things and being able to rearrange pages, or if I make a mistake, being able to get rid of it. And what I found was something called the disc bound system. And so what it is it's still a planner in the style of like a weekly planner, but you have the ability to create it yourself. So you can buy them pre-done, but I did go the route of DIYing mine. And so what you have are these discs, and I'm not going to pull it out all the way because then I just have to put everything back, and that's not something I want to do right now. But so these discs kind of act like a coil would on, say, this guy. So instead of one of these coils, these discs are all separate discs. But what happens is you have a specific hole punch that is in a specific shape, and you can pull them out and punch them back in. So let's see if you can see that there. So there's a particular shape in here that allows the discs to grip the pages that are also done in that shape, and you can pop things in and out fairly easily. Now mine's a little stiff because it is a bit new, and also I probably have more pages on these discs than I should for the sizes of these discs, but this is my first time using this kind of a system, so it's a learning process. But yeah, so it's I know I look like I'm struggling a little bit here, but it's really not that bad. But so this is all very secure again. I can grab it by one of the discs, and despite the fact that I don't have my cover securely in here yet, that's nothing else that's actually bound by the discs falls out. So that's super exciting. The other thing that this allowed me to do was design my own cover. These are basically just blank pieces of plastic, and then what I'll do is I put my own cover in, and then I'm just going to washi tape it on the side because I think that'll look neat, and that should hold it in place. I'm gonna find, and I think I'm gonna really like this system, because what it's gonna do is I've got blank pages so I purchased my blank pages from somebody, but you could take your own paper, and if you buy the hole punches, and there's several different designs and types of hole punches that work with the system, but you could punch your own paper. And I created that way. I wanted a slightly thicker paper because I do like to watercolor and use more intense pens in my journals, and so I wanted that thicker paper to avoid ghosting or bleeding through to the other side of the page. So I purchased my paper, and then what I also did was I also purchased my monthly dividers and my layout. Now, because I do graphic design, I could have designed my own, but it would have taken quite a bit of time, and I actually did find somebody that did a design that I really liked. And so there's a monthly overview for January, and it's 8.5 by 11. So this is back to the big size, which I have really big handwriting, so this is going to be a big help. It's got a notes section, it's got every day of the month. And then we come into the weeklies. And again, there's room on the sides for note taking. And then this time I'm trying a vertical layout. Now, I am a little bit bummed with this layout that Saturday and Sunday are much smaller than the other days of the week. We'll see if I like it that way or not, or if I could tolerate it. We'll see. But if not, I can always pull it out and reprint it and do my own design if it really bothers me that much. That's kind of the beauty of the system using these discs, is that you can change it whenever you want. You can rearrange it, things like that. So everything I've got, I have not done any decorating in my 2021. I can preset things up if I want. I take that back. I've done a little bit of decorating, a little bit of sticker going on. And so then at the very front, I had a couple of pages for bullet journal type stuff. And at the back, I have extra paper, and that could be either for taking notes while I'm at work or doing something else for any other projects, or they can just be used later as more bullet journal stuff. I do have a pen test page where I used all the pens that I would frequently use in other systems just to see if they work on this paper. And there's a little bit of ghosting you can kind of see through on the other side, but it's not too bad, especially once I do a design on the back here. So I'm really excited about this system. It's infinitely customizable. Like I said, I made my own covers, and I purchased somebody else's design, but I could have just as easily done my own design for the actual layouts. And then I still have the creative room to do the bullet journaling style diary keeping. So I'm really excited about it. The other thing that's really customizable is these discs. They come in like 3 or 4 different sizes. I got, I think, the second most large size because I know that I like stickers and adding lots of pages. So the larger these discs are, the more pages they can hold. As I found with this planner, it was flat at one point, and now because I've used so many stickers, it is a bit bowed, which does not bother me, but some people do. It does bother them. That's not going to be necessarily the situation with this guy, and then if it is, I can always just take pages out. Okay, so one thing that some people do with the disc-bound system is because they've already invested in the discs and they've already invested in these plastic covers, and you can get some with pre-designed covers. There's lots of companies out there that have done all of the designing for you. They've got headers and covers and dividers that are in a very specific design. I don't typically like those because I don't typically have the same taste. So I make my own. But one thing that some people do is that when they're done for the year, they will take all of the pages on the inside out and then they'll either keep them or throw them away or whatever, but they will use the same exact discs and covers for the year after that. So it's a way to kind of reuse and reduce the amount of money that you're spending on this hobby. This is a hobby that people find can get a little bit expensive if they, you know, feel like they need all the fancy gadgets and toys and things like that. Like I said before, you can very much do this in a very minimalistic style. There's plenty of blank notebooks and you know, college ruled lined notebooks and things like that, where you can be very minimalistic about it, or you could just purchase, you know, one notebook and not use stickers or anything like that. Or you get fancy and extravagant and just kind of go all out with it. It's completely up to you. It's up to your own style and what works for you. For some people, it's just a way to be organized. For some people, it's a decorative hobby. I'm kind of somewhere in the middle on that spectrum right now. But yeah, so anyway, this was a very long-winded way for me to basically show you kind of my planner journey, and as an introduction to what I'm hoping that we're going to be able to do together. So my hope for this Plan Ahead Club, it's a bullet journal planner club, and one of the things that we're going to be doing is we are going to be helping put together starter kits for you. And I'm not quite prepared yet to say what comes in each kit. Keep an eye on the website and the social media so that you can be aware of what was coming in each kit. But they will have some planner / bullet journal supplies to get you started. And then what I'm going to be doing is kind of talking about hints and tips and tricks for layouts and things to keep track of and things like that. And then hopefully at some point we're going to all be able to sit down together in one room, physically together, and plan together, so we can share each other's washi tape, we can, you know, help each other draw things, and just kind of sit together at a table and plan for the month ahead. And that's kind of the reason that I put this as the first Saturday of the month, because it's usually a day where most people have off work, and it's at the beginning of the month when you need to know what the month of what's coming ahead, you know. Blah 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 blah. So that's my goal, is I want to as things come back to normal, we're all going to start getting back to our normal lives a little bit more, and so staying organized and staying on top of things is really great, and it's really helpful. A lot of people use planners and bullet journals to keep track of medical things, personal life, things for their kids, things for the family, so things like that. So it's no matter kind of what your life looks like, there's reasons or ways that you could incorporate that into your bullet journals and your planners. And I find it very therapeutic and very soothing. It helps me get a handle on, you know, the future that may seem overwhelming at times. And I like the artistic part of it. It's very soothing and very calming. And I like just being able to kind of look back, you know, at previous journals and to see what I was doing at this time at that year, and, you know, where my headspace was and things like that. So this is a hobby that I want to share with patrons that I think could be very helpful, in terms of, you know, helping us all get organized and get on top of everything. You know, we're going to take back our, you know, our lives and our spaces, and we're going to be prepared for everything that we get to do and all the exciting things we're going to do once we're back out there in the world. So I just want to share that with everyone. I think it's fun. I think it's a helpful hobby, and I can't wait to share it with you guys. I would love to see if you guys if you've ever done any bullet journaling or planning in the past, or if you're going to start doing that with us. I want to see your layouts. I want to see your art and your doodles, your minimalist designs. You know, I want to see all that. It's exciting. So please share that with us. And that's it for this first monthly meeting of the Planner Club. It's not really a meeting, it's a video of me talking to you guys, but I'm hoping soon at some point it's gonna be, you know, an actual proper meeting soon. You guys know what I mean. All right, so thank you so much for joining us. I hope this is helpful. I'm gonna set up a page on the website with more information about things that you can see. Our Pinterest page has a section for Plan Ahead. I think it's right now labeled Bullet Journal Planner Club, but I might fix that really soon. And it's got layouts and inspiration and things like that. So feel free to take a look through that and kind of get more of a feel for how people use their planners. And I will be back on February something, the first Saturday of February. And I'll have another video for you guys talking about planning and how to really how to really get started. Because this was more of an overview. Once we get the kits, I'll start doing some more posts to kind of get you started, but we'll do a deep dive in February. So how does that sound? Any feedback, any questions you have, anything you want to see, let me know. Just send us an email at info@upperskagitlibrary.org or message us on one of our social media platforms, and I'd love to hear from you guys. So that's it for January. Thank you. Bye.